So we released an album in September, Stories After Bedtime, that we recorded here in Budapest. I think I talked about it last time, but it was still in process. And then we've had a really good release. We had a release gig here, actually. And then basically after the release of our album, we've just been playing a lot in Budapest and in other cities in Hungary as well. So we've been touring a lot. I mean, now that we have the album, people have been, they've been able to listen to the songs. So it's a completely new thing. We're going to cities where we've never been, and people know the words. So it's a new step for us. I have a very little place in Sopron called Búgócsiga, where we were like a year ago, and it was just a little gig. There were a few people there, and they called us back, and we returned just a few weeks ago, and it's just the cutest little place, and it's so fun to be in a city where, we're not, we released the album like a half year ago, and it's really fun to see that there's so many people. It was a really filled up club. I just love that. I'm seeing so much of Hungary through the music now. So there's a lot of things happening for us now. Basically, we're playing a lot in Sweden as well, and we're going abroad, so around Hungary, in Austria, Germany, Slovakia. One of the biggest things that happened now is that MUPA contacted us. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but we're going to have a gig there, and there's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of guests. We've just had new changes. There is a new guitarist now, Kurdish Attila, who's a keeper. So usually now we are either 4, that's the minimum, but when we're lucky we can have Christian on the trumpets, and we have Kursan on the piano. So that's what we're going to do tonight. It's going to be the full band. And we're going to do songs we haven't really done before, so it's not from the album we released, but it's newer songs. And I mean, now we have a band that is really solid, that we're working with. Now it started out as Antonia Vai, and now it's Antonia Vai Band. So that's what we call it, because it's now really a solid band of the same people, the same musicians. I am writing alone, but I would never go up on the stage and play the songs alone. So I'm very, very, the musicians are very important to me. So I always write alone because that's intimate for me, and then I give the musicians the songs, and they make them real, Like rhythms, new harmonies, figuring out how to, maybe I have a chorus, and they would be like, okay, but after the chorus, we got to take it this direction. And, they definitely give the songs new parts that I hear in my head many times, but I can't really play it because I'm not that good at playing guitar. So I'm like, I hear this kind of beat, but I can't play it. And then the guitarist brings his thing into it. So I'm really depending on them, actually. It's a really dynamical acoustic album. It's usually what we play live. So it's our set list. Except from today. So today we're going to do more experimental things, but we're going to play our favorite classics as well from the album. I'm going to play one song in the early hours that I wrote before I moved from Sweden. Which one? It's In the Early Hours, it's called. And I wrote that song when I was working in a little cafe in Sweden, and I was really bored of everything, and I was, there was customers coming in, and I made coffee, and I wrote the song in a blanket, a napkin. So that's an old song, but it's the first time I'm doing it live, so it feels like a new song because I've just written it and not really cared for it. One favorite is Arkansas, which is because it started out as a. I never understood how aggressive that song is. It started out like a pop song, but with quite harsh lyrics, and then with this band, the song has developed into one of our most aggressive songs in one way. It's always the song that makes people go crazy in the end, and I'm always feeling that the end of that song is one of the climaxes on the gigs. It's just, I can't explain it. There's a long break, and then people are like, now what? And then we just, snap right in. I really love that one. We're gonna do a song. There's actually a song that has been shared many times since I moved here that when I play in clubs outside of Budapest, in Hungary, a lot of times this is the song they put up and share, like Antonia Vai is coming. And it's a song I recorded in my bedroom with a piano, and that's all. And we're gonna do that tonight with a full band. It's Down in the Water. It's gonna be the first song of the gig. So it's really something that people have asked me, like, when are you gonna do that song? And that's one of my new favorites, which is an old song, but finally it's come alive, you know, with the band. I've been so lucky to meet really amazing musicians, Hungarian musicians. I mean, not only my band, like I met really talented people that I didn't know of before I moved here. We were playing on Petőfi, MR2 acoustic, not too long ago, and we had Said from A Kezdet Fiai as a guest, which was just like, I got to know him in a party without knowing who he is. And then I realized that he's someone, and I Googled, and I really love what he does. And it was just...
Slam poetry?
Yeah. And I've been raised with slam poetry in Sweden, so he's a person I want to work a lot with. Now he did a guest performance at MR2, but he's definitely going to do more stuff with me. And also I've gotten to know, well, I told you Bohemian Betyars, but they're really influencing me as well. We're touring a lot with them, and now we're going to, actually tomorrow we're starting our tour around Hungary. We're going to Debrecen and Miskolc and Székesfehérvár and some other cities. So they are really influencing me more to the world music. Like Bohemian Betyars are a gypsy punk, and we are writing songs together for their new album. So actually tomorrow we're starting this tour around Hungary where we're going to promote our mutual song. That is a Bohemian Betyars song, but I wrote the duet that we are doing, me and Levi. Nowadays, I'm more and more thinking about writing songs to incorporate the people I meet here. So let's say I'm writing something very soulful, then I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I can get this Hungarian singer to do this. So I'm very excited for the collaborations I want to make here in the future. So I'm reading lyrics for songs, and I want to understand. And now with the Hungarian slam poetry, I like just, you know, trying to understand everything. But I haven't read I've only read poems and songs, but it's a start, at least. What we did on MR2 acoustic, we had to make a cover of a Hungarian song, and it has to be a modern song. But I don't know any modern Hungarian songs, so I convinced the guys that we'd do Szomorú Vasárnap. So we made a cover of that where I sang the first verse. I translated it into Swedish. So I sang the first verse in Swedish and the second verse in Hungarian, and then I translated the second verse. That became the third verse into Swedish, so it's 3 verses. So it's the only song I've been singing in Hungarian. But that was interesting for me to actually sing in Hungarian for Hungarians, you know.